Busch, Denny Hamlin, row one. We're racing in Chicago.
Welcome everyone to the Incredicast podcast, week number 11, Chicagoland, the Turtles 400, the first race of the playoffs. And we're going to be talking about the entire race, starting with stage one with Dr. Ryan D.
Well, as usual, which we've had, the rest of the season, had a Toyota dominated stage one. The 18 car, he led from the pole, Kyle Busch. Which we've seen this, a lot. We've seen the 18 up there. Nothing really new. Good for him, though, getting those stage points that put him now P5 in the playoff standings. And yeah, Harvick showed some speed in the end that he could possibly get to there. But
yeah, I think he lapped up to 8 people on that first stage. Harvick was the only person even close to him, and that was like 5 seconds. So,
wow.
So that shows you dominance, or maybe some little bit of shadiness in the Toyota crew. You never know.
Who knows?
Who knows? Brad called him out on it. Who knows if he's right? Maybe he's wrong. Or maybe the Toyotas could be just good.
Yeah. Who knows?
Anyways, Chase Elliott, which won stage 2, he had this cool battle with Kevin Harvick. He ended up winning it, but ends up getting a penalty, a P1 penalty. I think it's called an L1. I'm not too sure about that, but something with the aero package. He lost 15 points on the playoffs. I think that took him down 2 points, 2 positions.
Yeah. He currently sits in the 8th position in playoff standings, which I believe it's just a product of all these other teams trying to catch up with the Toyotas, really.
Yeah.
As we saw earlier this year, we saw with the 22 of Joey Logano at Richmond, his one got encumbered because of a tactic that was close to me, in the same thing with Chase Elliott with his aero package. These teams are trying to catch up basically to the Toyotas. The only other car that's up there that's non-Toyota is the 42 of Kyle Larson, which I mean, hey, what he's got and what his team currently is doing, fantastic job by him, really good. But these Toyotas are so far ahead, and so he's, Hendrick Motorsports, they're trying to do stuff. I think all teams are trying to do stuff really to catch the Toyotas.
Yeah. When you think about it, Chase, maybe he might be the lab rat of Hendrick right now. Because, they want Jimmy to win the championship, of course, to get 8. So they're like, okay, if we do this, will NASCAR catch it? And they're like, okay, they caught it with Chase, so let's not do that with Jimmy and not throw his championship away because of it. So that may be what they're trying to do. Who knows?
It could be. Yeah.
So moving on to the Fords, Harvick actually showed a lot of speed. He led a total of 59 laps in that entire race, which was the 3rd best of anybody of that race. You had Kyle Busch leading all of stage 1, and Truex, once he got back up there, he just kind of walked the dog.
Yeah. Yeah, which for Harvick, it seems to me like he's the guy that no matter how good or bad his equipment is, that he can be up there. He can be doing well during playoff time, during chase time, as we've seen in the previous years when his season is not the best. He's had struggles during the season, whether his car or his team or just certain tracks that he went to. He's always been that guy that when crunch time starts, when it's the chase or playoff time starts, that he can be up there. So out of the non-dominant cars, the 78, the 18, the 42, I see him as the really top contender.
Yeah. one of those dark horses, if you could even call him that.
Yeah.
Which even Rodney said on Twitter, he talked about, like the past few years, they felt like once they made a mistake, they could, just win the next race. And he said that he didn't feel like he could do that this year, so they're trying not to make any mistakes, finish good, finish in the top 10, finish 5th, get a couple wins maybe, and
points.
It's all about the points battle. And
yeah,
we saw Ryan Newman do that in 2014, almost won the championship with no wins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So anything can happen in these playoffs. You might could say that Truex has already got the championship, but really no. He could be out around 8. When the round of 8 comes around, he might not even be a factor for the championship. You never know.
Yeah, it could be, as we saw last year at Homestead. Everyone saw how the 19 and the 18 and the 22, they dominated the entire race. No one thought anything of the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, and then with 10 laps to go, you get that major wreck, and then somehow, some way, Jimmy Johnson wins the race and his 7th championship. So it's not over until the checkered flag is out at Homestead.
Yeah.
Really.
The main thing though is Truex has had a lot of DNFs this season.
Yeah.
Brickyard, and Homestead could be one that he DNFs. So,
yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, which we even saw last year about how Truex, he had to have a decent race at Talladega in the chase last year to advance, and he blew a motor.
Yeah.
So it could happen. Anything is possible in this current format of playoffs. Excuse me.
Which he could have a bad race at Charlotte. Let's say if he were to accidentally have like this penalty for whatever reason, I think they take away 50 points for an encumbered win. So
yeah, which he's currently ahead. He's ahead of Kyle Larson now by 27 points, and he's ahead of P4 Brad Keselowski by 41 points.
So yeah.
So if he gets that penalty right now, he would be placed in P6 in the playoffs.
Yeah, and then maybe a crash, and then he's out. So
something
like that could happen.
It could happen.
But I have hope.
Stage 3, however, in the race at Chicago, we had some cautions. We had the one car of Jamie McMurray. He spun out in the beginning phase of stage 3, and then Eric Jones, he later spun out. The Jones boy, he decided to take a trip through the grass, which that made that whole entire last caution of the 4 and the 78.
Which I think if we would have had like a last caution, like 10 laps to go, I think you would have seen something out of the 24.
Probably.
And the 4. Which anyways, if Chase would have won the race, it wouldn't have meant anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, which is true.
It's kind of good that he didn't win for his team, because if he would have won, that would have been a huge penalty. Even more points went away, so it doesn't matter for him.
He got P2 in the end. He beat Harvick, I believe, with 13 laps to go. He passed Kevin Harvick. Which I have to commend NBC for not even showing that. They showed lap cars during that time. I saw on the top the 4 and the 24 switch places for an actual position, and we didn't even get to see that. So good job NBC and Rick Allen. Fantastic job, guys.
Yeah.
But as we've seen other times this year, Martin Truex Jr. He got the win.
Showing that turtle power.
Showing the turtle power.
Getting slimed at the end. So right now Truex is on top of the game right now, but people who are not on top of the game would be people like Jamie McMurray, Austin Dillon, Stenhouse, even Kurt Busch. Right now,
Kurt Busch, Casey Kane, Newman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which from Ryan Blaney in P10 playoff standings to the cutoff point of Kurt Busch in P13, only 8 points separate them. So Ryan Blaney, Jamie McMurray, Austin Dillon, who's actually tied with Kurt Busch in points, Kurt Busch as well, they're all any of those guys could could not make it out of the round of 16. And just behind Kurt Busch, Stenhouse Jr. is behind by 4 points, and Casey Kane is behind him by 1, and Newman 2 points behind him. So this is really close, actually. If you get a car that has an issue, crashes out, problem that occurs, this is very, very close.
Yeah, last year I think it was like 20 points Harvick had to make up, and he was like the first car under the 4. So
yeah,
so it's going to be really crazy for the next few races. It's not going to be like, okay, they have to win. They're not going to win because, there are people that don't win. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, which for Kurt Busch, I believe that he will get out of the round of 16. Just how his recent performances at tracks like New Hampshire and Dover are pretty good, and could see him beating probably Austin Dillon and Jamie McMurray, most likely, seeing how his car runs, Stewart-Haas cars against, PBR cars. So
yeah,
I could see getting out.
Yeah. That pretty much wraps up everything that happened within Chicagoland. So now let's move on to the news of the week. Currently, we only have one thing written down here, and that is Casey Kane is going to a new team next year, driving the 95 for the Levian family. I think that's how you say it.
Sure, why not?
The L family. It stands for Lou's. What? Never mind.
Sorry. Which I mean, being honest here, how come he's going there? How come he's leaving Hendrick Motorsports to go to a small budget team that hasn't ever run good? His story is such a sad story because he was doing incredible in the 9 car. He was doing so great, and they hyped him up to join Hendrick Motorsports in 2012 to join the 5 car. And then something happened, and he just didn't perform the way that the world expected him to. His teammates won championships. He was there. He was there when Jimmy Johnson won 2 of his 7 championships. Kevin Harvick, who had Hendrick cars at the time, he won a championship. Jeff Gordon went to the Final 4 in 2015, same car as Casey Kane. So
yeah,
you can ask the question, what went wrong? And we don't really have an answer for that. So,
well, it could be like Truex's deal. Have like a poor car for a while. Maybe he could drive the 95, and maybe like a big team. Maybe like Furniture Row. They're getting rid of Eric Jones. So
yeah.
So maybe, I don't know. Something.
It could be. It could be because remember what happened to Kurt Busch after 2011 with Penske. He went to James Finch, and then he went to Furniture Row, and now he's at Stewart-Haas.
Yeah.
So have no clue what the future holds for Casey Kane. I hope that he performs well and gets signed to a larger scale team like a Hendrick, but not Hendrick because he's at currently there. But yeah, I would like to see him come back into the fold of things. I think his win at the Brickyard proved that he can still fight for it if he chooses to.
Yeah. Furniture Row used to be an underdeveloped team, so who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Kurt Busch was there in 2013 in the second half of 2012. So yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ever know. Which Casey Kane's current stand is that he is 7 points out of the cutoff zone. He's in P15 in playoff standings.
Yeah. So going on to New Hampshire, though, they are spraying the PJ1 on the track once again.
Oh, that's great.
Which Junior has made some comments about it, that it's going to hurt several of the grooves. And I think it really helps the Toyotas out a lot, in my opinion. You saw it last time when we went to New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Which
yeah, it helps. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, interesting thing though. It is the first time that Incredicast is going back to a track, so we will actually have like data from the last time.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, which is cool because after New Hampshire we have Dover, which we did not do that first podcast. However, then we have tracks like Talladega and Charlotte, so that should be cool.
Yeah.
But going off of what you said about the PJ1, it helps create a new line. However, it hurts the creation of a new line at the same time, because the line that they put the PJ1 at, it will be around for the first stage and a little bit going into the second stage. However, when the real racing commences, at the end of stage 2 and stage 3, when you're actually trying to fight for position, fighting for the win, fighting for points, the PJ1 substance is already gone, essentially.
Which I was rewatching the last New Hampshire race, just to get back into the results and stuff to see who I can make my pick for, and they kept calling it the VH2, and like the ABC and.
Yeah. The problem with it is that it has a line that it's a fake line. We can call it a fake line because it's not rubbered in. It's a substance. So when that substance wears away, there's no rubber there because the rubber goes on the substance and they both go away. So you essentially have a dead line there wherever they choose to put it. So.
Yeah. Which then leads to our picks for New Hampshire. I'm going to let you go first, as always.
Oh, thank you. Well, usually I would say like a Ford. Ford would win New Hampshire because we've seen the 2 and the 22, even though the 22 isn't in the playoffs. We've seen those cars do very well at short tracks. We've seen the 48 do well at short tracks, but seeing how the last time we went to New Hampshire, it was Penny Hamlin who won with the 42 right on his rear end, trying to knock him down for the win. I'm going to go with the 18 of Kyle Busch, seeing how last time he had the chance to win the race. However, he just had certain issues that plagued him. I don't remember exactly what happened. However, I remember that he was up there. He led a lot in stage 2, I believe. So my pick for his coming weekend is going to be Kyle Busch.
Well, that is a good pick because he is mad about what happened last time. So he is going to try to win, to get over it. That's typical Kyle Busch, what he tries to do.
Yeah.
Just like your pick, I'm going to pick a Toyota, That turtle power.
I'm shocked.
Whoa.
I'm shocked.
They're not performing. What are you talking about?
Toyotas?
However, I am picking a Toyota that has not won this season, and that would be the 20 of Matt Kenseth. He had a good chance last time, but pit strategy failed him, and I think he can go in and make up for it this time. Get that first win of the season, possibly his last win of Joe Gibbs. Depends on if he wins anywhere else, but I think that's what will happen. That is my pick for the week.
Yeah, speaking of which, where do you believe that Matt Kenseth could possibly go?
Interesting question. Well, he did say that he is definitely not going to Stewart-Haas Racing. I don't know if that is him trying to be sarcastic, because he's tried to do that before.
Yeah.
But you can't really cancel that out. He could go to the 10, could go to the 41, could go to, let's see, the 5 is taken up, which it would be the 9. I really am not sure about cars, but Stewart-Haas does have Smithfield going for them. which everybody thinks Almirola is going to take one of their cars because of that. Who knows?
Yeah. Which, speaking of which, Kurt Busch is a playoff driver. He is a 2004 champion, and he is a 2017 Daytona 500 winner. And he's not going, well, he stated previously that he was not going to sign with Stewart-Haas because Stewart-Haas Racing did not have the cash fund and the sponsorship to keep him there. However, now Smithfield, do you think that Smithfield is going to sign with the 41 and keep Kurt Busch?
Yeah, that could be a possibility. They could just get rid of the 10 altogether now and just say, hey, Kurt, here's you a free sponsor.
Yeah.
But it really depends on if Smithfield wants to sign Kurt, because, you know, some of them might have preferences of who they consider like a spokesperson for their product.
Yeah.
Like Eminem's thought about dropping Kyle Busch just because of the way that he acted in a lot of times. So
yeah, it could be.
There is that, and there is like the past of Kurt Busch. He doesn't really act like that anymore, but you know, that could still be something that they might deem as not good for them. Who knows? Possibly,
because Kurt and Kyle, as we all know very well, they're not very PR friendly.
Yeah.
They're really not. really not. But if you're an old school guy who actually cares about racing, Kurt Busch is the obvious choice over Aric Almirola. You know, he's in the playoffs now. He's a driver that can still win. You know, as we saw in Daytona, as we saw at what's the race that I'm thinking of? Texas. Yeah, sorry about that. Texas.
You're supposed to know everything about racing.
I'm very sorry. He was up there for a while. He almost won the thing. Also at Darlington. Also, he was up there in the very end. And then Hamlin and Truex passed him and all that. So if you're talking from like a driver standpoint, I would take Kurt Busch any day. But
yeah.
But as we all know, NASCAR is a show. It's not a sport anymore, and they are tending to companies and all, and so It's all a big business now. So we don't know what they're gonna do.
We're gonna get shut down in NASCAR. Oh no, Brian France. Oh no.
Mr. Gene Haas and Mr. Tony Stewart, if you're listening, please keep Kurt.
Keep Kurt. I will send you a basket of candy if you do.
Hashtag save Kurt.
No, I will send you a basket of Smithfield.
Ham. Yeah, Smithfield ham. But anyways,
that is all we have on our list, besides talking about some Incredicast podcast stuff. If you don't want to listen to that, have a great day.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, we're going to talk about some Incredicast stuff for the fans to know. We're going to have a Season 0 final podcast, which is, it's not Homestead. Homestead is going to be in the same format as these. Our Season 0 final podcast will just be talking about the year, how to get better at the podcast themselves. Also, we're going to be having a vote for your favorite thumbnail, which the winner of that will go and get the diecast of the car. And there you go. And also let us know if you want us to have face cam for the final podcast. You know, that's the thing. You can see our faces. You know who we are.
Oh, that's great.
And then you'll unsubscribe because of our unattractiveness.
Yeah. That's okay.
Bye.
But yeah.
Also, we have like several contests for you to win a shirt into next year, possibly this year if we have enough people. We also have a Patreon, which I have the link down below. It's where you can support our podcast. You don't necessarily have to. There is no like, I'm not going to hate you if you don't. It's just something to give you an option to help us get better at, You know, we can get better equipment, better microphones, better computer even if that becomes a situation.
Yeah.
So, you know, the perks of being a Patreon, though, you can come to our Discord chats once we get Discord back full function, which would be when we do our summer podcast. You know, we can go on Discord and just have it where you guys can listen. You know, that's the thing.
Possibly even on Skype calls with us.
Yeah.
Because we're currently doing it on Skype right now.
Yeah, we can have like one person come in and we can interview them or something, talk to them on
exactly.
Skype. So we can do that for our Season 0 podcast. So comment down below if you want to be in that. We can have like a, 30-minute session maybe with them, whatever. That would be up to us to decide. But we'll have like a drawing out of a hat to see which one wins. You know?
Yeah.
We will be doing that Season 0 podcast at 6 o'clock. There is no official date on that yet. Probably a Saturday, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know. Because we're gonna hold it during our winter breaks, right? So it doesn't have to be Saturday.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't have to be. It's just
yeah.
I think maybe we should do it on the same day as our podcast. So like Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday.
Yeah.
Whatever day.
Probably.
Maybe on Del Jr.'s podcast day. I don't know if he does it during the winter or not.
Yeah.
He might. Anyways, I think that's all we have to talk about. Thank you guys for joining us today. And let us know any additional information that we can actually talk about in the next podcast. And that will help you get into the Skype thing. You know, that's additional in there. Additional
perks.
Additional perks, additional chances. Anyways, that is all we have. Join us next time for New Hampshire.